Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am doing a second part to a video. Yesterday I filmed, and this hopefully will go up in the right order, but I recently filmed 3 looks using this Ace Beaute Tropical Vibes palette. It's a gorgeous palette. And then every time I open up Instagram or whatever else, I get this beautiful picture here. I've got a glare. This is the picture I see. And every time I open up my phone and I see this picture, I go, that's what made me buy this palette. So I'm gonna try something I don't normally do, and I'm gonna try to recreate this look on my close set hooded eyes. She is significantly younger. She has a different facial structure than I do. She does have brown eyes, so we have like one thing in common. And she looks like she has maybe a little bit more lid space than I do. I'm gonna try to create her look on my eyes with a vibe that I would actually wear. Like when I look at this, I think her eyeshadow goes up. Let's see if this will focus here. Her eyeshadow seems to go up a little bit high for how I normally wear it. So we'll have to get into it and see how much of that I do. I might keep some of it down a little lower. We'll have to see. But anyway, if this interests you, go ahead and stick around, hit the subscribe button if you feel like it. And yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, I brought you in a little bit closer. I do have a little bit of this Ulta Beauty matte eye primer. When I used this palette before, I really felt like the eyelid primer that I was using, the Ace Beaute one, was really messing up the application. I had patchiness with the mattes, and so I wasn't feeling the vibe of the actual palette, and I was struggling with it. So I'm gonna start with this shade right here. I feel like that's the one that she has at the top. So we're gonna try to create that look on me, and I don't normally do this. I sometimes get like inspiration, but to actually like try to recreate a look, that's not something that I do. So how's everybody doing? How's it going? Everybody feeling okay? Everybody should be back to school now, which you may or may not have kids, grandkids, but it seems like, at least for me, fall always feels like the beginning. Like, it's more the beginning of the year for me than, say, January. You may be the same way. I spent a little bit of time this morning kind of like organizing some clothes, kind of thinking about what I want to wear more than what I'm wearing right now. Which, when I'm filming this is going to go up probably a month after I film this. In all honesty, I pre-film, and I'm sorry, you guys, because of my travel schedule for work and the band that I manage when I'm not working, and then just home life, it's sometimes hard for me to get things up timely, which is good in a way because then I can pre-film, pre-edit, and pre-schedule it and not have to stress. That's kind of my way of limiting my stress a little bit. So that mustardy color, that was called khaki. I don't really get khaki out of that, but I threw that up at the top, so that's going to be like my first transition shade. And then I'm pretty sure she uses Safari next, which gives it that beautiful warmth, so I'm taking this just a little bit further down. And I'm not super concerned with it being a little patchy at this point either, because I feel like the way they blend and the way they kind of gradiate together is where the beauty comes from. And then we've got that gorgeous shimmer on the lid, which kind of seems to help a little bit of the patchiness too. That's kind of pretty. That first khaki shade started to look like a little bit like a old bruise on my eyes, so I'm glad I'm bringing this shade into it. I am using a rougher brush, and my hope is that between a different eyelid primer and good quality brushes, I can get this palette to perform a little bit better for me. I am still getting a lot of patchiness. Darn. But that's okay. The idea is to get the look, right? So I'm going back into the khaki color, which is kind of like that marigold, and I'm just going to kind of try to soften up a little bit here. I think all of the looks that I saw when I was Googling this to try to get the look, again, all of the looks that I saw people were doing were really super graphic. And while they're beautiful, it's a little bit unrealistic for me in my everyday. I'm just kind of blending those shades in a little bit here. How are we doing? So far, so good? Maybe a little wild, but I think we're well on our way here. So she's got several different greens on. I almost feel like she's layering some of the greens. So I'm gonna go with, I think I'm gonna start with Jungle, which is kind of like this, almost like a olive martini green. And I'm doing this right in the center and a little bit towards my inner corner, but not all the way. Now we're gonna go into a darker shade. I feel like it's either gonna be Pickle or Army, but I think I'm gonna use Army because I think that might be what she's used. Or maybe not her, but maybe whoever her makeup artist is. Boy, you know what? That eyeshadow primer, I know that the Ulta Beauty one isn't like the most expensive, but it actually is working really well. I'm thrilled that I grabbed that one. I've got a couple that I know are gonna work well. But I did a video recently when I used that, and I was like, actually, you know what, that performed really well. I'm gonna leave it out here. And so it was here, and I was like, well, you know what, now's a good time, because that eyeshadow primer that I used when I did this video before, or used this palette before, was not good. And I didn't want to think it was the eyeshadow. I wanted to think it was the primer. Okay, I didn't pick up any more product, but I'm kind of blending a little bit with that first brush where I had Safari and Khaki. Which shimmer did she use? She probably used a bunch of them, huh? Yeah. Well, I say a bunch, but there's 3 shimmers, and this is 3 metallics. You have this one, which I don't think she's used, and then you have this one and this one. I think she's used both of them. So I'm going to start with this one called National Park, and I'm picking it up with a brush, and I'm packing it on top of that jungle color that it should gradiate a little bit more where I don't have very much, all towards the inner corner. It's over a little bit of that kind of martini olive green called Jungle. This one's, again, called National Park, which is kind of like a green gold. And in all honesty, she probably did kind of a cut crease in here. I can't be bothered. Okay, I'm going to take this lightest metallic in here. This one is called Rainforest, and on my inner portion of my eye. This is such a gorgeous fall color combination, but it's so dramatic. And it's going on very quickly, so it's not like this is something I couldn't do at a later time. Oh, I'm getting a lot of fallout. I should probably have wet this brush down, huh? We'll have to do a little cleanup here. But this isn't taking so long that I couldn't actually do it for maybe date night, or if my husband's got a gig with his band he's playing, which is kind of like the only other time I do really dramatic eyeshadow. Normally I'm pretty stead and boring with my day-to-day. Wow, actually kind of really like that. I hope I've stayed in focus for most of that. I've been messing around with my camera settings again, and every time I zoom in I feel like I'm forcing the focus here. I got a little patchy right there. I'm not sure that you need this particular palette to create this look, but I'm digging on it right now. Okay, what did she do? I feel like she did a bunch of colors under her eyes too. So under her eyes, yeah, so she's taken her eyeshadow way down here, and I'm a little concerned in doing that with me because I do have smaller eyes, but more importantly, they're not young. I've got kind of old eyes to begin with. So it looks to me like she's got either a super dark green or a black liner. So I'm gonna do my waterline with the black first, which is gonna give it kind of a harsh look anyway. I think that's what she's got. Okay, so she's got her black liner on, and then she's got a dark green right underneath. So I'm gonna take, I think this is the one where, you know what, I haven't used this shade yet. I'm gonna use this one right here, which is called Olive. And I'm going to use right up against my lash line. I do have glitter fallout. This is fun. I don't ever do these like where I try to recreate it. And this one looked so beautiful and it kept inspiring me. And I don't do these kind of like recreating videos. So this is actually a lot of fun. Okay. And then she's got, it almost looks like she's taken, I think it's more like this khaki color. I'm trying to make sure my brush is relatively clean here. She's got this khaki color again, just a little bit lower. I'm trying to keep the colors a little bit more separate, and they don't go more separate. Okay, and then she's got a little bit more of that Safari color, which is kind of like this rust color that she's got more out here because she looks like she's combined the two. That might need a little bit of blending. It's actually one of the better shades in this palette, I think, is that Safari shade. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the khaki color out here. That kind of explains to me why she went so high, or they went so high with the eyeshadow, because in order to use all those shades, you do have to go kind of kind of high. And that almost feels like it's a little too high, but let's just go ahead and kind of blend this out a little bit here. And then I'm gonna blend this down too a little bit to sort of soften that. It's grungy and it's dramatic. And it's a little much for a lady of a certain age, perhaps, or maybe it's exactly what we needed. Let me put some mascara on and do a little bit of cleanup, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see here. Let me take a look at this picture one more time. I feel like I need to go a little bit darker on the outside, and I'm gonna take the Cave, which is this darkest shade here. I haven't used this one yet. And I'm gonna go a little bit more out here just to give a little bit more drama and depth. Yep. That's what it needed. Felt like I just kind of ended, and now I feel like it's doing what I want it to do. Yeah, okay, so, you know, my opinion hasn't really changed as far as the patchiness of the mattes. It is what it is. Okay, that's the picture. I feel like I kind of did it. I feel like she went this rust color, this khaki color, I think she went really far in. And I think when I do that, it ends up being very, makes my eyes even closer. So I think I like this with it's a little bit lighter, higher in the version I did. Not that I think that I'm better than a makeup artist. I'm sure their professional makeup artists got paid a lot of money to do this. But this is my version of it, and I'm not unhappy. I will actually probably recreate this look again because I think it's super dramatic and exotic looking, and it's kind of fun. And who would think that a lady of a certain age would pull off eyeshadow that looks like this? We're gonna rock it. All right, you guys, I hope this was interesting to you. Not too horribly long of a video. We have a little bit of shine here. We should probably get that cleaned up. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing really well. Thanks for sticking around with me. I really appreciate it. And I tend to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't always do these videos, but if you find that this is interesting to you and you want to see if a layperson can try to recreate something that a professional has done, let me know. I'm always up for a challenge. All right, you guys, I hope you guys are doing really well, and until my next video, bye for now.